Howdy YouTube. Welcome to the, if you haven't figured it out already, First Generation Trucking YouTube channel. This will be my first video. So yeah, it's probably going to suck a little bit, but it'll be alright. We're just trucking along here out in Montezuma, Kansas. Picked up a hood sprayer. That's Tanner going back to Hutchinson, back towards home. I'll tell you a little bit about myself, I suppose. I'm 23. Been driving a semi-truck the last 5 years. Until about March, beginning of March, I started driving this hotshot truck. Truck's a 1993 Dodge W250. Full 30-foot Elite trailer, 2020, 14K deal. Non-CDL setup. I got a CDL. I don't really care what it is. I just kind of, I had the truck and I bought the trailer and figured I'd start using it, see if it worked. So yeah, I've been doing it for about 6 months or so. Working on 7. Haul a lot of stuff, a lot of different stuff. Haul some farm equipment. That's what I got on now. Aircraft parts. Just some creative material. A lot of stuff out of Wichita. Try to stay off the load boards as much as I can. Actually, I haven't been on load boards at all this month. Things are starting to click a little bit, but yeah, that's kind of what we're doing here. Got about 300,000 miles on the truck. Started with, well, I bought the truck about 5 years ago when I was 18. It had 150,000 on it then. Now it's got 300, so put a couple miles on. Put 65,000 miles on it in the last 6 months. So it kind of trucks along here. Only blew the transmission once, so that's good. Now I could replace that transmission every year and be alright. Not too expensive to replace. Trying to run my truck like just an old school trucking company. Direct customers, paid off rig. You know, if I need to sit, I sit. You know, if I want to go on vacation, I go on vacation. If I need a day, I take a day. But it's also easy to work yourself in the ground too, so you gotta be careful about that. But it's pretty fun. I like it. I had to give you a little more background on what I did when I was driving a semi-truck. I started out driving it's a W900 2001, I believe. Kenworth W900, pulling grain trailer for a custom cutter. Did that for almost a year, and did that out here around Dodge City. Then moved back home, or back towards home, and got a job driving a semi-truck, hauling hay for a couple of years till I turned 21. Then I started hauling cattle and kind of did both cattle and hay back and forth for the same guy. Just a 2-truck operation. They only had one commercial truck, and that was me. And boss drove the farm truck around, shuffling hay and whatnot. And I did the commercial work, I guess. Boss's brother was a cattle hauler. He's hauled cows for a long time. So I followed him around, learned a lot. Learned a whole lot of stuff, how to take care of a truck. How to just try to pay attention as much as I could to learn how to do my own deal. And finally got to a point where I kind of hit the top of the food chain in that job a little bit. It was a fine job. Really the best boss in the world you could ever ask for, but I wanted to go do something on my own, and I knew my truck was in good shape. I rebuilt pretty much everything on it. Got gasoline in my fuel one time, and so moral of the story: the engine's pretty well rebuilt. Top end's rebuilt, fuel system's new, new transmission in it, whole brake system's new. It's just in good shape. So I was like, well, shoot, why don't I just go buy a trailer and start using it? And at least onto a guy, and here we are. Got a few direct customers, a few brokers that I work with, and kind of weaning myself off the load board because there ain't crap on the load board anyway. Not in my area that's worth doing. You're always working with different people all the time, and I like working with the same folks over and over again. It makes it easier that way, and a lot more enjoyable. Then you know who you're working with. The truck's pretty much stock. Like I said, it's been rebuilt, and we put RV injector nozzles, which are, those engines are supposed to be 180 horsepower, a little bit more torque than what this engine was. So we got those nozzles in there and adjusted the pump a little bit to match those. So I'm probably not at 180. I'm probably at 170 horsepower, maybe 450 foot-pound of torque, something like that. Pretty much stock. You get on it a little bit, it'll puff a little black smoke, but nothing. It won't just dump the juice. Wanted it built for reliability only, because you don't need that much power to pull this little trailer. We shoot 400 horse will carry 80,000 pounds easy. So 160, that's plenty to pull 22,000 pounds. My truck is rated for 8,500 pounds. Trailer's rated for 14, so 22 and a half. I don't get over that ever. I wouldn't want to in this truck. It don't stop good enough. It don't go good enough. You know, when we're real heavy, like right now, I'm just driving about 55, 60. That guy probably hates me right now, but that's okay. I don't care. So yeah, it's pretty much a stock truck. Just pulling a little 30-foot trailer. I try to take the lightest loads that I can all the time, and I just charge what I charge. If they don't like it, then it don't get hauled. It's as simple as that. Same way with backhauls. There ain't a backhaul. Backhauls aren't a thing. They are a thing, but they shouldn't be a thing. If it's on the truck, charge your rate, and it's good enough. But I probably won't talk numbers on this channel at all, because everybody's different areas and different kind of freight. Everything's different, so my numbers might not work for you. Actually, they probably won't work for you, because this truck's paid off. It doesn't use a whole lot of fuel. It's only got 8 tires to worry about. It don't cost me a whole lot to run. So the way I charge, probably different way you charge. Maybe more, maybe less, but it works for me. And, you just gotta sit down and figure out what works for you. You gotta feed your family. So anyway, that's kind of a little introduction to who I am, what I'm running, kind of what I'm doing. I don't know how long I'll run this truck. I don't know. If I don't need to get a big truck, I won't get a big truck. If there's a big need for a big truck, I'll get one, I suppose, when I can afford it. But for right now, I'm finding quite a bit of work to do with this truck. We'll just keep running the wheels off of it and see how long it goes. It's cheaper to rebuild it than to buy a brand new truck, I promise you that. $80,000 for a brand new truck, or even 60, whatever. No thanks. I could rebuild this truck 4 times with that kind of money, so I just keep running this one. It's got 300,000 on it now. They've been known to go up to 1 million miles. I guess if we find enough work and bills are getting paid, we'll test that theory and see if we can get up to 1 million miles. my philosophy on the size of the truck, you either run a small truck or you run a big truck. You get bigger than a 1-ton pickup and get a medium duty truck. There's really not much need for that, I don't think. I think you're spending just as much money on fuel in a medium duty truck as you would in a big truck here, right? And you can always haul light stuff with a big truck, but some guys like to start in a 3/4 ton and work up to a 4,500, 5,500, and they'll get an international single axle, and then eventually they end up in a big truck. Well, I would just as soon run this truck until I can afford to get a big truck, if I need to, and then I'll just get a big truck, and that'll be that. 'Cause once you get single axle semi, you're only an axle away from having a full size semi, so and that extra axle ain't gonna hurt much. As far as fuel mileage and wear and tear, it ain't gonna make that big a difference. You may as well just have it there, whether you need it or not. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. Stay tuned. Might do a walk around after this, show you the truck. It's kind of dirty right now, but it's a working truck. We got stuff to do. We ain't gonna get cleaned every day. Probably ain't gonna get cleaned every week. As a matter of fact, I know it ain't. 'Cause I ain't gonna wash this thing. And I ain't gonna pay $100 to have it washed neither. So the boats will just stay on the grill and that'll be okay. I like keeping my truck clean, but some guys get a little excessive, I think. A busy truck is a dirty truck, or a dirty truck is a busy truck. A busy truck makes money. If it ain't making money, then that's your fault. It ain't my fault. Yeah. So that'll be it for this video. I'll throw up a little walk around. And yeah, so y'all come back now, you hear?